It's the first decentralized virtual currency. Bitcoins are a hot commodity these days. What exactly is a Bitcoin, and could this be the next big thing in the world of e-commerce?
I think the first question is the same question that many people have, as its technicalities are complex and the mechanism difficult to understand. So Song Ji-hun has more for us on that to shed some light on Bitcoins. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. It's a very difficult terms out there, and actually it's peer-to-peer digital currency and payment network, which was invented in the wake of the global financial crisis back in 2009 by a computer scientist using the alias Satoshi Nakamoto. But despite the Japanese name, we don't know who he or she is, or whether he's an individual or a group. But speculations are that he could be a European economist who was pessimistic about the current monetary policies and currency inflation. It's a two-way virtual currency without a central bank or administration. It's peer-to-peer traded money. Now that peer-to-peer means all personal computers used for Bitcoin's transactions become part of the network connected between users instead of a main server. Now only 21 million units can ever be created, and currently 12 million Bitcoins have been issued. That's almost half of the total amount designed to be issued. And Bitcoin payments are encrypted, and you do not need personal information to create an account. That means you could create an anonymous account, that is, but all transactions are logged into its open source system, so anyone can look into it anytime if there's a doubt. And it's a currency without borders, so there's almost no fee or international transactions, which is seen as a merit for using Bitcoin, while the high value of the fluctuations and the possibility of the currency could be used in black market or for illegal transactions remain at risk.
Right. The value of a Bitcoin has jumped significantly over the months. It sounds like something I want to get my hands on. How do I acquire Bitcoins or buy Bitcoins?
That's another difficult question, especially if you're not an expert. Actually, Bitcoin is yielded when computers solve a code-breaking problems, which is called mining. And that more the Bitcoins are mined, the harder those problems become to get the Bitcoin based on its algorithm designed to control its supply. And it's almost impossible for a non-expert to acquire Bitcoin through individual mining, so many people join some type of guild to afford the necessary gears and computers and raise their chance of attaining a Bitcoin. If you cannot dispense that much time or assets to mining, but have some cash to trade for a Bitcoin, you can buy through an easier channel. Now, mostly through online, there are numerous Bitcoin exchange markets on the internet in each country or internationally. It's very much like a stock market. A deal is done when buyer places an order matching the seller's bid. And actually, there's a Korea's Bitcoin market open in Corbett, and I actually tried it myself, and I went out to the first offline stores to accept Bitcoin here in Korea. Let's take a look.
You can now trade Bitcoin in the Korean won too through Corbett, Korea's Bitcoin exchange market launched in July, and buy merchandise with the virtual currency.
At this bakery, you can pay with Bitcoin in the blink of an eye just by scanning the QR code with a smartphone application.
The app converts purchase value from won to Bitcoin, and the amount is sent to seller's electronic coin wallet. As a Bitcoin is worth around 1 million Korean won as of Thursday, 10,000 Korean won, or $10 is worth around 0.01 Bitcoin.
My son was studying finance in New York and introduced Bitcoin to our family. We saw the value of Bitcoin was skyrocketing, and then I asked if we could adopt the system to our shop.
He says an average of one customer per day has paid with Bitcoin since his shop started accepting it at the start of the month. But the owner is not considering cashing out his new Bitcoins anytime soon, as he believes the value of the virtual currency will continue to rise.
Even on Corbett, Bitcoin rose threefold over the past month. I think it will continue to rise as more people get to know it and become interested in it. I'm thinking of keeping all Bitcoins paid by my customers.
Most people believe Bitcoin will continue growing in value due to the limited supply and soaring demand. But the wild fluctuations in recent months have some questioning Bitcoin's stability as a currency.
A currency needs to show stability and should not be used as an investment for speculation. But many people buy Bitcoin for profit these days. Traditional currencies can be issued and are bound to inflation, but Bitcoin is bound to deflation as the money supply is limited.
The value of one Bitcoin topped $1,000 last month, That's nearly 76 times its value last year. In China, the world's largest Bitcoin market, Bitcoin's value has jumped 91-fold since January 1st this year. As the market has overheated, China has banned financial institutions from using or circulating Bitcoin, but some Western countries recognize Bitcoin and are seeking ways to embrace it as a means of payment.
Most central banks see Bitcoin as a legitimate financial service, but say it cannot function as nor replace existing currencies. Thailand has made the transaction of Bitcoin illegal, while Germany and Canada acknowledge Bitcoin as a currency and now seeking measures to tax its transactions.
The Bank of Korea held working-level meeting with the Finance Ministry on how to approach Bitcoin, but is yet to publish its official stance.
There's no doubt that Bitcoin is the most successful virtual currency to date, and it can also be used to track transactions through its open structure. But its instability as a currency and the lack of intervention with its value will limit its usefulness in a wider sense.
Okay, so some countries around the world are actually seeing this as a tradable form of e-commerce and taking some action. China has banned this. What is Seoul's position?
Well, Seoul has not released its official stance just yet, but just yesterday on Thursday, after the monthly monetary policy meeting held in the Bank of Korea, the central bank governor Kim Jung-soo told reporters that it's questionable to see the Bitcoin as currency due to its high volatility. He went on to say it's hard to talk about the future of Bitcoin, but given its limited acceptability, it may be difficult for Bitcoin to develop into non-legal tender. The BOK is preparing a report on whether Bitcoin can become a means of payment and settlement, but it largely remains negative about such a possibility.
So the store that you visited that we saw in the report is the only store in Korea that accepts Bitcoin, right? So how likely is it that this will be widely used in the future?
Right, just one store, offline store accepting Bitcoin here in Korea, but you could have more stores abroad in such as US. For example, Nike, you could buy sneakers with Bitcoin, and you could also pay in hotels and restaurants such as the Marriott and Burger King, as well as Gap, another retailer. And you could also pay a lot of online trades and transactions. So it's actually, we have to wait and see if more offline stores and more institutions will start to accept Bitcoin as a currency. But for now, it's better to see it as an alternative or supplementary payment than as a legal currency.
I'm starting to understand this very complicated concept, but until I get a full grasp of this Bitcoin business, I think I'll stick to my good old coins.
Or you could use it as an investment to wait and see if its value keeps going up as well.
Well, I could forget about mining for it because I'll never get that. So I guess I might think about trading for it. Right?
All right. Thank you, Ji-sun, for this story.
Thank you very much.